Welcome to Soulbirth here on Edge Radio Australia. It is just calamity here in the studio today. I'm very, very lucky. I have the lovely Faye Suzanne beside me for Soulbirth, and we're ready to rock and roll, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
as we always
With
are,
a little
Aaron.
pause.
Yes.
A pause is important, right?
It's good to have a pause now after that great start to the
It
day.
was. It's been a wild little morning for me. I have run in here. I got I got three-quarter way to work and forgot the phone. Okay, left
Can't
the phone.
live without the phone.
I'm going to apologise to myself for this. I didn't actually forget the phone. I dropped the phone.
You dropped it.
I dropped it. I found it on the floor. So obviously I've dropped it on my way out. And
Gosh.
yeah, so back home, rush, all that kind of thing. But here we are doing everything at a million miles an hour. That's cool.
Exactly. So it's perfect that we're here today to talk about the sacred pause.
Did you see how I planned all of that? You see, I knew what we were doing and I thought, I need a pause.
Yeah, you do. So perfect time now. Just take a breath, Aaron. It's lucky if I drop the phone and not your bundle.
bit of both, let's face it. Well, okay, let's talk about the hang on, what did you call it? The sacred
pause.
Sacred pause.
Yep.
All
and honouring rest as a spiritual practice.
Okay, because I'm currently having a meta pause where Facebook and Messenger are screwing me around. So that's my meta pause. No. But okay, we need a spiritual one. All right. So
we do.
Okay, slow it down, holiday time. Let's go with that.
So in amongst all this chaos and rushing, have you noticed that, well, I, for one, anyway, and I know a lot of my friends that have been going through this period lately over the last 2 or 3 weeks where, I don't know, it's like spirit has been forcing us to rest.
You reckon?
Yeah. Well, maybe not you.
Not me.
You're always a Speedy Gonzales.
No, well, yes.
I don't think it's possible for you to slow down.
All I can hear is arriba. But no, I do enjoy a little, just knock the pace back and all kind of thing. But it hasn't been happening to me lately. Maybe mine's coming.
Yeah,
right?
maybe because I'm normally pretty much an action person too. I've
always
got my calendar full. I'm always busy doing, but it's like I'm being forced to slow down lately.
Now, hang on. I saw you on Saturday night, Faye. Come on. There was no slowing down. Just go Queen, quite frankly, right here. Okay, for our karaoke night we had here at Edge.
Give me the mic and I'll
you were
bang out some tunes.
Going for it. It was good. It was great.
I lost my voice a little bit by the next day, so lucky it's back today.
You've done well. All right, well, I've taken you sort of on every other path here. How about you take me by the hand and take me down this little spiritual pause?
Well, sometimes going on these other paths are actually part of the pause.
Is that right?
Journey, isn't it? Because the thing is that life is so busy all the time. We're always so busy doing things, doing, and it's almost like being programmed into us to be busy because you're seen as being ineffective if you take time out.
That's a great point.
It's been conditioned since we were younger that if you're sitting around resting that you're you need to be doing something. Like, why are you being so lazy? You're guilted into feeling lazy.
Whenever I find I'm spending a little bit too much time on the lounge or like I'm just flaking a bit, and I think to myself, I'm wasting the day. I feel like
exactly.
that.
And same like when I have been having some rest in the last few days, my first thoughts were, oh my gosh, I've just wasted a whole day because you just stay in bed for the whole day. Finally allow yourself to stay and have a rest day, but then your thoughts take you to all the default programming about feeling guilty because I've wasted a day. Like I could have done this and I could have done that. But allowing ourselves to actually have that rest because we need it because our bodies and our souls are exhausted.
There is absolutely no rest for the wicked. I mean, look, around here, speaking of wicked, I see that Brandon has actually entered the building as well.
Oh dear,
so geez, things are going to go wild in a minute. But it's so true. I have a little joke on that because myself and Brandon were talking about this the other day. Brandon does our amazing crypto show here, and it's just worthy of the crypto hour of power. I might mention that coming up at 1:00. But anyway, we were talking about exactly that with a couple of, he'd been a little bit ill and, taking time to rest and stuff. And you feel like you've wasted time. And why do we berate ourselves?
I know. But this is the thing, like if we don't listen to ourselves and take that rest, we end up sick. So that did happen to me. And you see it all around you. So if we're not listening to the cues that our body is giving us, then we crash. And you'd understand that in your speed racing terms.
Actually, okay, as we all know, I can always turn this into a motorsport reference.
You can, obviously.
But
all the time.
And I will. I know we talk a lot about birth and sacred things and all that kind of thing, but come on, motor racing is sacred.
It is.
But when you're going, and I've said this before though, when you're going truly fast and when you're racing and you're very, very, you're in that beautiful mode, it is very calm and it's very relaxing and time slows down for you.
Yeah,
right?
It's like you're in the eye of the storm, think of a cyclone or hurricane and you're in the eye of the storm.
That's right. And you're most successful when you're in that calm and everything comes to you slowly and your hands are very soft and the movements are all very controlled. Whereas when you are, panicked is probably the wrong word, but when you're under that sort of strain and then all of a sudden the hands tighten up and you feel that you're jagged, you're not smooth, you're not in the moment, everything speeds up. I mean, it's a metaphor for life, really, isn't it?
It is, totally is, and you can relate it to everything, like as we do,
with
motor racing and with birth,
Yep.
With everything. So there is always that eye in the storm, and so when things are going on, and there's busyness all around you, the chaos, and that's represented in the world at the moment.
No chaos. The world's running so smoothly. What are you talking about?
And they say, as within, so without. So whatever your internal dialogue or world is going on, then it reflects in the outer world. So do we see the chaos out there, or is our own little realm that we've created a nice peaceful realm?
Now, can you say that statement again so I can just jot it down? The first bit, will you?
Which first bit?
The in and out bit.
Oh, so as within, so without.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
Oh,
okay. I don't think I've heard that before.
Where have you been? Hiding under a rock?
Yeah.
It's been around for a long time.
Been living under a rockery, right? Like the whole lot. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
It's just a simple way of doing it.
Yeah. And there's another saying too, which I wrote down here. It says, rest is not idleness. Rest is the soil in which sacred seeds grow.
Oh, that's
so
deep.
Get that one. That's deep, isn't it? Whoa. Deep in the soil.
Yeah, glad you wrote that one down.
I know. I'd never remember that one. But that's the thing. Rest is not idle because it's actually there is so much in the nothingness. And I had this very profound moment last week, which I would like to share. I did. So
share away.
Because I'd been so busy trying to create and whatever, whether I was meant to or not, who knows, but spirit made me slow down. Like I got a bit sick, so I had to actually stay in bed and rest.
Right.
And getting, you can go into all the stories in your head about, why is this not happening, whatever, and you're still busy in your head thinking of all the things that you could be doing. When you finally surrender to that, give up and go, what does it matter? I just need to sleep because I'm so tired. And anyway, and then in that, like I had a nice soak in the bath because it's something I like to do when you're in that, that stage, because this is very therapeutic and healing. And so when I'm in that space, then I dropped into this space of nothingness. And it was weird. It was a very profound moment because I actually felt like I was completely empty,
right,
but completely full at the same time.
Come on, expand on that. Expand on that one.
It was a very spiritual
experience,
because it was the first time I've had the experience, but not really dropped into it and actually realised what it was. But it was being in nothing but everything at the same time. So when I was an empty vessel and I just allowed everything to disappear, and then in that moment, like I was aware of everything around me, like spiritually talking, like everything. It probably sounds really woo-woo and out there.
It does a bit, but definitely expand on it because it's
and
good.
It allowed me to actually be a completely empty vessel, and so whatever I needed to hear dropped in, and I suddenly got all this clarity in that moment, and that it was okay to rest, which is what drove me to this today to actually talk about this, because when we're so busy doing, we don't allow the messages to drop in and the guidance, our soul guidance, to actually drive us forward.
Oh, that's it's a great point. It's kind of like if you were a glass of water, right? And you're busy all the time and the glass is absolutely full. You haven't got space to move those things in.
Yes. And I got that message drop in as well. So when we are full, there's no room for spirit to move or soul or for ideas, creativity to flow. So when we empty ourselves out and allow it to be empty without panicking and feeling guilty about it, and it allows so much more room for the new stuff to come in and to gel around, and then you can go, oh, wow, that's really interesting.
Out with the old, in with the new, right?
It is. Yeah. You've got to empty the cup in order to fill it.
This is true. Okay. There's a lot in that. There really is a lot in that. Because we have very, very busy lives. And even people who don't have particularly busy lives, I think I don't know, 20, 25, 26, 27, all of these years that are, with us and ahead of us and beyond, life just seems to be so complicated. There's so much coming into it. Every, we don't live the same lives, 2 generations ago. We get so much information in all the time. So, it's hard not to be busy and overflowing, I guess.
Exactly. That's the way we've been programmed. And, over time.
True.
So we actually have a choice in that because there's free will comes into that. So we can actually choose not to be so busy.
Good old-fashioned free will. I've heard about this stuff.
Yeah. We do have it.
Well, you can get out and you can, it's like going camping. When you go camping, you get back to good old nature and you've got the basics. And
don't have phone connection, no Wi-Fi.
Oh, no Wi-Fi. Great? What are you going to do?
Great, I love it.
Changes whole perspective,
doesn't it? Because you just don't have, and you don't get constantly, because if the phone buzzes, you've got a message coming in, you kind of get distracted and you read it. Whereas if you're out there and you've got no Wi-Fi, you can't be distracted. No. Yeah. And it's amazing, like what a reset you have.
Maybe I should have left my phone at home today.
You should have.
Maybe it would have been, much calmer day for me. All right. Well, I always ask sort of techniques and so forth that might help me through all of this. So come on, give me a technique. Help me. Yeah, exactly.
This is just over there.
Aaron's self-help hour, right? This is all this is.
It is for deep rest. There is a couch. See, he even implemented this in his
I have it over there.
strategy.
I can lay down. Got some nice cushions there. Get very comfy indeed. Why not?
And I can tell you all about the benefits of self-love, because this is a radical act of self-love when we actually allow ourselves to deeply rest.
Wow. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, it is. Because we don't allow it for ourselves.
Because I kind of get angry at myself. It sounds stupid, but when I rest, I get angry. I think about, look at the waste. I think about waste. I think about the time that's been wasted. I could have been far more productive. Yeah, and I degrade myself for taking a break.
Did you know that when you allow yourself that pause and that time, normally you can be more productive as a result of it, because more
zero doubt in that. Totally agree with you.
Especially if you're trying to problem solve. If you've got a million things happening and you're not really sure where to start or to get clarity. If you allow yourself to rest, it's a bit like meditating. If you allow yourself to the space and the time to drop into that zone to meditate and just allow something to come in, then you get all the answers usually, and then
it all comes your way, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you shut the left brain off for a bit and allow the right brain to receive, because it's all about receptivity as well. And we spoke about that a few weeks ago with our wonderful Hayley.
We did.
About receptivity. So this is in a different way. It's like, again, it's if we're an empty vessel, then we're also opening to receptivity. So sometimes
the great reset is a good thing.
Exactly.
As long as it's just on a personal level, not on that massive scale.
Exactly.
I completely understand. It's like when you come back from a holiday. I mean, I don't remember this, but I
don't remember the holiday?
No, I haven't had a holiday.
I haven't had one for a long time.
I haven't had a holiday for over a decade.
More reason to do, sacred pause whenever you can, because you can do it in 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. See, here's me. I'm thinking, I'm thinking relaxing. I'm thinking holiday.
Well, that's good too when you can, but you can't always do that.
No, you can't always do that. Yeah. So, all right, let's just talk about. We'll bring it down to a sort of a micro level then, I guess. A little pause. How can I do this? How can I implement this into my everyday life?
Oh, well, easy.
I'm waiting. Come on.
There's so many different strategies that you can implement that are, every day. Like when you wake up, just allowing yourself to have, space.
Yep.
So the first 10 minutes after you wake up, and I quite often do this. I really like to actually sit in bed and actually just, think deeply, take a few big, deep breaths.
Yep.
And then just clear your mind. And then I always do a bit of white lighting and, clearing my energies for the day, make sure that I've got no negative energies attached to me, and then white lighting myself. And then I also like to future pace the day where I just see it, but this is kind of knowing what I've got on. It's not so much like emptying, as you say, in the pause, but it's actually future pacing where you can actually see the day unfolding as you want it to unfold. And then having a moment where you just allow, where you just open up and allow things to drop in. And if there's any messages that you need to hear, allow your higher self or your
this is probably a far better way of starting the day than actually starting the day by going, picking up my phone and going through all your messages and going through all that kind of stuff.
Because
as so many of us do, right? The first thing we do when we wake up is pick up our phone.
So when we do that, when we just automatically get onto the scrolling, just automatically our head is buzzing, and when you're exposed to the Wi-Fi, all the electromagnetic radiation, and we're just our brain is just like going from nothing to frantic all of a sudden.
Constantly.
Yeah, and then your day is a chaos, turns out to be chaos as a result of it, because then you're a bit behind.
True.
Because I know whenever I've done that, I end up, scrolling for too long, and then it puts you behind, and then you're running late all day.
So true.
Yeah.
Well, on the pacing thing, like you were saying about pacing your day out, does that sort of help you make it a more relaxed path?
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever I do that, which I try to do most days, then the day actually just flows and you seem to have more time. It's almost like it opens this spaciousness for you to just flow into.
Have you got a PA? Is that what you're telling me?
A PA?
Yeah,
oh, no,
a personal assistant who's just laying it all out for you.
Well, PA up there, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
When you call in all the supports, the energetic supports, and then it kind of works
use that.
for you. You
Why
can,
not?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then other things that you can do, like when you have time, is like, and these are things that you could do even when you're here, because you can hide behind here. We talked about this once before, about having a foot bath or something.
Oh, yeah, we did do that, didn't we?
Yeah,
I do need one down there.
We do, and it could fit just in there.
There's a gap. So we can make that work.
We could. For the length of a show, you could put some nice warm water and some bath salts. And
sure, because nothing works better than electrical gear and bath salts.
Exactly. Just don't drop your microphone in it. Exactly. And then put some nice essential oils in there too that will help.
They're very relaxing.
Exactly. So put some lavender, although we don't want that while you're on the show, because you might go to sleep there on the couch.
Do the lavender thing, fall asleep.
You get too comfortable and in too much of a pause that.
Maybe though, everybody works a bit differently. I don't know. For me, guess what is the magic thing that actually makes me go to sleep?
Oh, what's that?
It's magnesium.
Magnesium. Oh wow! Yeah. You heard that first year on Edge Radio.
Been experimenting. Yes.
You now?
Yeah. Well, someone in my past put me onto this peppermint stuff that you pop on the base of your feet.
Peppermint wakes you up.
Okay. Well, it smells like peppermint. I don't know. Anyway, that made me fall asleep. That was really, really good.
Oh, did peppermint made you fall asleep?
Well, it smelled like peppermint, so I assume it's peppermint.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, I wish I knew what it was. I'll give her a call and find out.
That's good for revival if you want to get some energy.
Oh, really? Okay. No, knock me to sleep. Well, maybe it's like with using Ritalin with ADHD. I don't know. Maybe I need the waking up on this, on that side of things. But lately I've been doing the old magnesium, and I think it's working.
Yeah, because magnesium is really good for all the nerve, the synapses, all the neurological stuff as well.
Yeah, well, I initially started using it for pain, right? So that was initially when then somebody said, hey, why don't you use it for sleep? I'm like, okay, we'll give it a go.
Yep.
So, I think there's a lot to be said about these more natural things. I'm not recommending you go and drug yourself up, because that's just not the great way to live.
No, but there's so many more natural ways of
well, I've had more luck with essential oils to help me sleep than I have anything that you buy over the counter.
Oh, same.
So
oh, that's good.
Give it a wide berth.
That's good. Yeah, and any moments that you can get to be in visualization or meditation, they're really good for your pause. To just empty your mind and actually allow messages to come through, or just allow nothing. Be comfortable in the nothingness.
So if I've got, I don't know, because we can all make 5 minutes a day, can't we? Right? Is that going to do it?
Yeah. And like I talk to my pregnant mamas about this a lot, because once you become a new mum, it's really hard to get any time at all to yourself to have this like quiet time, with dads as well. So whoever's looking after the kids, it's really hard to get 5 minutes to yourself. You remember the days of locking yourself in the toilet and just to try and get some peace.
I've done that. That is totally legit.
Except they're banging
Let's bang on the door.
So but in between the spaces, you can usually find five minutes. So if you can do 5 minute practices, of just breathing, breath is really good to help you come back to center.
I'm going to turn this into a public service announcement. Okay?
Oh, are you? Oh,
yeah. So, okay. Right. So all the women in the world and all the children in the world just want you to know that when your dad is in the toilet, he's meditating. Okay.
Oh, yeah, right.
This is what he's doing. Okay.
I'm sure that's what he's doing.
That is why he's there on his own. He is meditating. This is his time. Do not bang on the door. Just let the man meditate.
Oh my gosh. Could be said for mums too.
It could be said. I'm just saying, as blokes, we tend to spend a bit longer in there.
Oh God, jeez. Well, we need to send the memo to the kids, don't we?
Oh yeah. My beautiful Ella, she used to really suffer a bit of anxiety about separation, and when she was very, very young, and it was a real challenge. And I had to. When I went, to the loo, you'd have to leave the door a little bit open so that, she knew that you were still there and that sort of thing. And so you don't get, I can totally appreciate, and I mean, I love my daughter beyond every explanation, but it's, as a person, it's important to get a little bit of time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and as a new parent, particularly, obviously, a lot of mums would be suffering this. Some dads as well. That the lack of actually getting a break.
Exactly. And we can train our kids from a young age too, train. It's actually helping them to program, for a really calm upbringing as well. So we can actually get the kids to sit there and practice. We can teach them to meditate. And, initially it's going to be for 1 minute or 2 minutes because kids don't have a very long attention span. But the more you do it and make it a fun thing, and the kids do it with you, and then you can all have this pause together. And you can invite crystals in, because kids love crystals.
Do they?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know a kid who doesn't like crystals.
I didn't see a crystal until I was in my 20s.
Yeah, but that's because you didn't know about them probably.
This
you
is
didn't
true.
have them. But
No, we
if
didn't
you
have
had
them, no.
access to crystals as a kid, because they're in the movies and things, they're always magical.
Yeah, true.
You can program them and, set the intention of whatever you want a crystal to be. And if you give the kids all their own crystal and you can get them to actually meditate with their crystal and turn it into a magical power source,
Sure.
And then the more you do it, the more they sit in their own thoughts, and it's actually really good for their creativity as well.
I bet it is. I mean, okay, my creativity as a Gen X boy, and when we picked up a rock, we knew what to do with the rock. Okay? That was our crystals. That's what we did.
I don't even want to know what you did with the rocks, but I'm sure it's not what I would have done with the rock.
Totally different thing. It's just different kind of meditating. That's all I'm saying. Really, come on. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No.
But we can, as parents, do things with our kids that will help nurture them and
I agree.
And help to cement or anchor in these nice practices that they can actually have as lifelong tools to bring themselves back to centre.
That's an excellent point. And I remember with my kids, something that we try to do very strongly is give the kids a taste of all different things, like all different sports, all different, whether it be acting or dancing or this or that, you give your kids access to all of these things, which is a really, really positive thing.
Yeah.
But maybe also it might be worth opening the door and letting them see some of this as well. Do you know what I mean? Like give opportunities to children to look at different stuff.
Yeah. And when you look at the life of a child now, not many kids get actually free time to just be, to go and do nature play and all that, because so many kids have got, activities after school every single day, and then on the weekends they've got sport. So they're rushing here, rushing there, and then parents wonder why the kids are so agitated in the evening, like they've had no time to just be, in their own space.
And I'm going to say till cows come home, stop putting iPads and tablets in front of children, okay? Honestly, let them actually play. I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and they were talking about the fact that they lived in Panawanica for a while, for a number of years, and the fact that the kids just, they got out and they got dirty and they got muddy. And she showed me some pictures of the kids with, these massive insects in their hands and stuff, right? Rather than, rather than being playing on an iPad, they're actually touching nature and being part of it,
like we used to. That's how we grew up. Well, I did anyway. So and I loved it. All the days of just laying on the grass underneath the the sky, looking at the cloud formations and watching the leaves on the trees and just allowing. And my childhood was very much about being in this pause and just allowing stuff to drop in. And I remember being very creative. You're an individual.
You're a bit different, aren't you?
I'm always different, Aaron. You know me.
No doubt about that. Different. All right, so every day we can do this pause.
Yep.
Every day you
can actually. Yep.
So you do it first thing in the morning. Well, I suppose you do it more than once.
Well, I do it whenever I can when I think about it, and and it's good to do that, incorporate, and even if you're so busy, it's good to set an alarm on your phone, maybe once an hour if you can, or once every couple of hours to have a 10-minute break, then just stop what you're doing and go outside and breathe some air in, or just do something, or put some music on and dance. But do something to break up the go and the thought. Your brain that's constantly switched on.
Yep.
Give it some time out to just pause and let the creativity flow.
Now, this is a harder thing to do in a city, okay, or in a noisy environment. Look at you go. Well, I think it is because because when you were saying, as you were saying it, I thought to myself, I'm in this studio and several rooms here, obviously, as you can mention, a lot. Okay, and when I'm walking outside, it's noisy and it's it's suburbia, or there's cars going by and there's sirens and all of that sort of stuff going on. So there is no quiet to kind of take in unless you go and look for it and go find it. Like, so sometimes at lunchtime, if I've got an opportunity, very, very rarely, normally I just work through, but otherwise sometimes I will go to a local park and I'll just go bang, sit out on the grass, boom, have something to eat, whatever. it's kind of what I'm getting at. How in a concrete jungle can
So,
find this sort of
and I'm glad you
opportunity.
brought that up because that's actually a common thing because, it is true that if you live in suburbia or in the city and there's noise all around you all the time, it's great when you can get to a park or a natural space so that you can actually tune into nature because that's the best place to actually drop into this, place of nothingness, the pause. But if you're not able to get to a park, the thing is about training yourself to be able to drop into that within, having that peaceful space within you no matter where you are. And that's what I've kind of cultivated over many, many years of
You've nailed it.
practicing.
You know how
I don't know about nailing it, but I try. I try really hard to bring that in, or not try hard, but, allow is more the word, I think, is to allow that space in my day so that if I am feeling overwhelmed or busy all the time, to actually just be. And I suppose that helped me a lot too when I was working in the hospital, because we were always having emergencies and stuff. So I found that in the midst of an emergency, when there's chaos, that's right in the middle of it, I was able to drop into this space where the stillness came. And from that space, I was always able to focus and do whatever without being flustered.
I think that's something that people who deal with emergencies and don't get me wrong, I know childbirth's not an emergency, but work with me here, is the ability to slow things down. It's such an important thing because otherwise people do make rash decisions and they don't do things in most positive ways. So
exactly, and birth is very much like that too, because people do unfortunately think of birth as an emergency a lot of the time because they'll think, oh my gosh, and they get into the chaos of it, especially as the birth is imminent and things are happening and the woman is like the woman is feeling all the feels, and then that's the time that's most important out of all to drop into that space within, which is really important to actually practice that as long as you can throughout pregnancy, so that when you're in that space of giving birth, that you can just drop into that space within you rather than looking for a space out there, because out there is not going to actually give you the internal dialogue with your body and your baby to actually give birth. And it's an art of surrendering and allowing the energy to move through you.
See, to me, that's the tough gig. I think that's the difference, and the thing you've got to find is that whole ability to look inside you.
That's it. That's it. Everything is within you. Everything we need is within us. So that, and when you
why are you laughing at me when you say that? Jeez.
Because the look on your face is like, yeah, right.
No, it's not yeah, right. I mean, I don't access it, right? So for me, don't get me wrong, I get inside my head a lot.
Geez, and no wonder you're stressed.
Exactly. Isn't it funny you say that? Okay, when that image came up in my mind, you know what I saw? What? I saw monkeys in a cage.
Oh, really?
Okay, so there you go. When I looked inside my mind, there you go.
That's what you see. Oh, wow.
There's a bit of truth.
So just lay on the couch over here, Aaron, and we'll talk about this.
I'll tell you about my childhood. Away we go.
But it's true.
For so many of us, it is so hard to imagine that. I mean, for people who can meditate, who have meditated a lot and get that, for those of us who haven't lived that life and we're introducing it to ourselves, it's tough.
It is, but know that you can. Like, this is accessible to everybody.
I don't disagree. I mean, I've done it. I just find it. It's a harder journey for me than, say, yourself, I would think.
But that's only because I've done it over and over and over and over and over. It's about practice and, commitment to yourself as well to do point. That, and I suppose I've been naturally tuned into that my whole life because I've always been very different and spiritual, and I've always been off with the fairies, talking to all those other unseen energies and stuff. So I find it really easy to be in that space. I was always a daydreamer when I was younger, and I still am, because I'm always chilling out and going into that realm. But I think anybody can cultivate that if they want to. And it's it's a necessity these days because of all the chaos out there. I think the more chaos there is out in the world, or in our lives, the busier we get, the more we need to actually incorporate this into our life.
That is incredibly true. Yeah, I mean, as we're talking about, I am literally running through my mind thinking how beneficial it would be to do it, and then I will come up with excuses of why not to.
Yeah,
right.
Like we all do for multiple things.
Yeah, and I think it winds back to what we started with when we're saying about you feel guilt for wasting time, and then for me, I think I've got so many things on the go, and I try and use my time as productively as humanly possible. And then I will feel guilty for going, oh, wow, I've just wasted 5 minutes. I've wasted 15 minutes, whatever.
Yep. So that's all about rewiring your subconscious thoughts around that, and not feeling guilt, but instead reprogramming that or reframing it so that you realise that those moments are going to be the most productive moments, because you're going to allow more to pop in. So you'll get way more productivity if you allow yourself those moments.
I'd say some people in my life have realised that maybe my productivity might be falling off a little bit because everyone at the moment is going, hey, Aaron, had you thought about a holiday? You know, but it's the reset thing, isn't it? It is the fact that, sometimes because you're tired, because you've been pushing yourself too far or just not even that, just the normal run of life, right? Sometimes that holiday, that time to just slow things down, when you come back, you are far more productive.
Oh, for sure.
You're far
Absolutely.
more on the ball, right?
Yeah.
You're sharper.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot to be said about that.
Yeah, there is. Absolutely. Yeah. And so I like the fact that you said the reset, because that's what's happening now, as we know, whether it's a reset in the greater scheme of things out in the world physically or the reset internally. And that's what's going on at the moment energetically for all of us, is that we're going through a reset.
Yep.
The energy is actually changing a lot at the moment, and not everybody's aware of it, I suppose, but things are changing. So everybody knows something's going on, but they don't know what. They can't quite put their finger on it. But energetically, we're shifting into a new frequency on the planet, and our internal energy in our body is changing to match that as well.
That's right.
And so we're all evolving and changing our frequency, moving more into a higher frequency.
Yeah, no, I agreed. And there's a conflict, obviously, that comes with that.
There is, as with any change.
Exactly right. Yeah.
And it's like birth. You always take it to motor car racing, I always take it to birth. But this is just like what we're going through at the moment is a lot like birth. So, when we get to that transition phase, which is just before the baby is born, when you go into all the hormones kick in when you're about 8 centimetres, before you're fully dilated, before the baby's about to emerge, you get a hit of all the endorphins and the oxytocins that are going to help birth the baby. And when you get that big hit, you start getting all floaty, and you get, but some women start to abuse their husbands, or they start demanding an epidural or to have a cesarean.
Sure.
Because everything kicks in and you get chaotic and a bit worried about if things are happening normally. So that's
a damn good thing for yourself, as a midwife or being involved there. The fact that you're so aware of that metaphysical change in that woman's body.
Totally.
Because you need to, otherwise you kind of might think, as a man, we don't have those endorphins going on. We don't know what. So if you're the partner, you might be thinking, my wife's going crazy. She's lost the plot.
That's what they quite do. They quite often do. They go, oh my God, what's happening to her? She's never like this. And it's like, it's okay. This is a good sign, because she's about, she's getting really close to having the baby. So when she gets, and the pupils dilate and she gets all floaty and she starts talking a lot of nonsense. Not everybody. Depends on your preparation, and because if you're hypnobirthing or something, you just kind of flow through it, and she just sort of spaces out and disconnects from you a bit, because she's in her own little world, and that's this space in between, this pause, and she's really connected with the body and the baby, and this is the space where the magic happens, because then when she opens and surrenders to the birth, that's when birth just unfolds beautifully. So if we can use that metaphor for life and what's going on right now, because we're going through the change at the moment, as we're, our frequency is changing. So if we can actually hypnobirth ourselves way through this, and just actually surrender and allow the process, allow ourselves to relax and open up, so that these changes can happen with less pain. Flow.
And just to talk about the birth point of view, as I say, I didn't know that, right? I was not aware of that. And when my my first son was born, there is a very funny video. It doesn't exist anymore, but it did back in the day. So we did the whole video of the birth, right? But not at the business end. Just up the other end, just what are the emotion of things and all of that, right?
Yep.
So anyway, we did that, and there's a video in the video. There's a scene, if you like, where my wife is clearly at about the old 8 centimeter mark, and she grabs. So you can't see me; you can only kind of see my torso in the shot, right? Because obviously with the camera angle, and it's all about her. Yep. So. But all of a sudden, she grabs him by the collar and drags my face down, and my head down onto the bed, and she goes, "You!" like this with absolute hatred. And anyway, I found it hilarious, right? Well, maybe not at the time, but I didn't know. I don't know about the fact that at that level people's endorphins are going crazy and all of that sort of stuff. So maybe if they told us that would be.
I know. See, this is what I was always passionate about, sharing with couples about, the whole birth process and what is actually going on in your body, so that you can actually be aware of it when it happens, and then you know the cues look for and what's the best thing for you to do in that moment,
Yep.
you know, so that you can help your partner go through that stage.
I just kept apologising. That's what I did. But it went from, because, okay, you don't know. And I know it's a highly emotional situation. But, my wife went from absolutely hating me to absolutely loving me.
Exactly.
Absolutely hating me.
Changes in a moment.
Back and forth. But
it's just the hormones talking, though, you know.
Yeah.
So she won't remember. Usually, they don't remember that afterwards. It's you know.
We had video evidence.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, it is just a moment thing because it's hormone driven. But you don't take it personally.
No, I didn't take it personally.
But you know, you can move through that, and that's why so many tools and techniques that you can use during birth can actually help that process and make sure that you have a smoother transition.
So, that's kind of a lesson for everyday life.
Exactly,
as well, right?
It is, because we're always birthing some part of ourselves. Like now we're rebirthing ourselves into, you know, more of a 5D realm.
5D.
We're going from 3D to 5D, you know, the frequency is
So we're jumping 4D? Is that how it works?
Well, we're in the void at the moment. And this is what I was experiencing the other day, stuck in this in-between stage, which is this, beautiful everything and nothing at the same time, which is a weird feeling. But to be able to understand what that was made all the difference, because then I could accept it. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes total sense. So, and it's okay to feel this, to be in this at the moment. So, which is what I'd like to say to anybody that's listening, is that if you're feeling that way, it's okay, because that's what's happening at the moment. We're in a transition, you know, we're moving through a change.
It's okay to feel in the void. Is that what you're trying to say?
It is. If you're feeling empty and like nothing's happening, nothing's working for you, it's okay. It's just, an opportunity for you to rest, you know, that deep rest, to really nurture yourself, and just, you know, maybe stop trying to push forward with things, because it's not the time to push forward.
Okay.
Especially now, because we're going into winter. We're in winter.
Yeah.
So it's a real going within season. So allow yourself to go within and have deep rest, nurture yourself, and then see what drops in, because we're moving forward into unknown territory, really, with the different energies that are around. Yeah. So allow yourself to rest and not feel guilty. You know, give yourself permission to rest.
It's such a hard one, though.
It is.
Give yourself permission to actually not be productive.
Exactly, but that's the challenge here and now. So, you know.
I've had other times in my life where I didn't care about my productivity, but, you know, but again, it's your society trains you in the programming of things. And,
so it's just reprogramming, and, you know, Terry's section on NLP is really good for that. You know, reprogramming our subconscious mind is a big thing, because we can change any of these, you know, patterns that we have.
We absolutely can. And I mean, hey, while we're doing that, we may as well mention somebody else. So the Salt Room with Kat. For me, I mean, I've been going there relatively regularly for a bit now, and the void that you talk about, it's the first time I've experienced that void for so many years, because I was so bloody relaxed. I kicked back. Yeah, and it wasn't even about the physical element. I got, oh my God, like my phone's not going off. You know, I'm not having to worry about electronics. I'm not having to worry about interviews or meetings. Or I'll just go, I can just chill.
Yeah, nice.
And it was good.
Yeah,
it was really good. Yeah. So
absolutely fantastic.
Great opportunity. And I'd sort of, anybody, whether you do it at home or you do it at a place like that, whatever the case may be. But it was funny, because Kat's like very much, you know, about the therapeutical and how it would be good for me physically.
Yeah.
I came out like mentally, it was better for me.
Oh, there you go.
So there you go.
Everybody needs a mental break.
Yeah.
And, you know, and the other tool that works really well is breath work as well. So
people talk so highly of this. Yeah.
So, you know, being really focused on the breath makes all the difference. It helps you to drop into that space too, and it makes physiological changes in your body.
Right.
Because when we slow our breathing down, and feel your pulse rate slows right down as well. So if you've got any, you know, palpitations, or, you know, you're in an adrenaline state, you know, if you just focus and slow your breathing right down as slow as you can, and then you'll feel everything just calms down, and you can visualize, you know, blue, the color blue, because it's a calming color.
Okay.
So that's really good. You know, they have some rooms they do up for emotional. You know, I know at Osborne Park Hospital they have this. What's it called again? The sleep room or snooze room or something. But it's painted blue, and it has all the calming music and everything.
Right.
And
who can go in the snooze room?
Oh, I think it was for pregnant women.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. I don't even know if it's still there, actually. I need to check and see if these are available. But you can do this in your own home. You know, your bedrooms, you know, if you paint them in the colours that are actually
calming.
Calming, calming colours that help you sleep. Then it helps a huge amount. And then take slow, deep breaths, and just with every breath that you're letting go of anything that you no longer require, let go of all the stresses
Yeah.
and everything, and then just allow, the emptiness again before you fill it up again.
Allow the emptiness again. Jeez.
Yes.
I thought we were trying to fight the emptiness. Jeez. Trying to get meaning in our lives.
No, we want to be an empty vessel so that more creativity flows through us.
I'm pulling the Mickey, but all right, fine.
I know you
fine.
are.
You got so many good points there. Now,
I know.
we're going to end in just a couple of
We
seconds.
are.
So, is there anything you were thinking about, like, something you want to close with?
I just wanted to put this out to everybody listening, a question for you to ponder, to sit with after all of this. What would it feel like for you to live in harmony with your own sacred rhythm?
Well, rhythm is a dancer. It's a source of passion. I will pull a line out of any song I can. Okay, no, explain that to me in layman's terms.
Layman's terms. So about this being present in the moment, if you could do that and create harmony in your life through the breath, through the pregnant pause. I did
that. I'm sorry.
Sacred pause.
There we go.
How would that look in your life? Would that, make a difference in your life if you gave spaciousness to it? Slowed down.
I think we know the answer. It's just a case of we've got to do it.
We do.
And I talk about this all the time. Action. Okay, it's no good actually just talking about these things. You've actually got to put them in. And I'm a terrible hypocrite on this one because I don't put these things into action anywhere near as often as I should. But yeah, if you're going to be, you can talk all you like. If you don't put it into action, nothing changes. So guess what? Take that first step, make the change, and implement some of these things in your life.
Yeah, and instead of doing more, be more.
Be more.
As in being
That's
present.
cool. Can we get that on a T-shirt? It's pretty cool. Thanks for being part of the show, of course. It is Soulbirth here on Edge Radio Australia.
See you later.